so great to be home. Can make my videos by the fireplace and have the Christmas tree in the background. I just want to say that you are like the most adorable man ever. Like, it's weird because usually I refer to, when referring to boys, I only say that they're adorable if they're like little kids or really old guys, and you're neither of those things, but I just think you're really adorable. I'm really glad that you brought up this topic because gender identity is something that I find extremely interesting. I don't know tons about being genderqueer. I've been immersed to that more since getting to San Francisco because I've been hanging out a bit at the LGBT center, and there are some people who are gender neutral, and there are transgendered people, and there are just all kinds of people on the gender spectrum. So I've been looking at that a little bit more and learning a bit more about it. I know that I consider myself kind of genderqueer. I don't say that or tell people that necessarily because it just seems difficult, and a lot of people don't really understand anything about it. A lot of people don't understand. They think that you're just trying to be difficult when really it's more of that from as far back as we can remember, society has created like this idea of the man and the woman, and they're like these gender roles that you have to fit into for each part, and they're forgetting that there really isn't necessarily like genders. Like, there are some people that will fit into the gender roles, but the majority of people do not. And the idea of genders, the idea of what we should be, has been crafted and like molded into our brains since we were born, you know, and since our parents were born and since our grandparents were born. It's really more of just an idea of what we should be based on the sex that we are, which is ridiculous because, I mean, I don't know, if I hadn't been taught that boys have short hair, I might have short hair. I wish that that binary didn't exist, that I didn't have to worry about that, so it could just be like people are people, and, you know, you have things to identify sex, but sex identifies you as much as hair color. Like, it shouldn't define what you wear or what you listen to or anything like that. There shouldn't be cars that girls drive and cars that boys drive. There shouldn't be chick music and dude music. There shouldn't be, you know, there shouldn't be all these things that are lumped as into like things that girls like and things that boys like. My back got hot. Something else I wanted to talk about. I've recently gotten a more understanding of the theory of that kind of thing, how lumping things into things based on gender, when gender is something that's completely crafted and formed by society and not by the way things actually are. It originated in a class that I took last semester. Actually, I took Intro to Women's Studies, and I never thought that I would like women's studies because, you know, the word feminism is so loaded, but it was really interesting, and there's a lot of talk about the LGBT movement being a part of like a fourth wave feminist type thing, because there's so many things redefining everything that we, you know, have crafted before, and is the deciding factor in feminist theory. And we read an article that was by Judith Butler. We read excerpts from her book Gender Trouble. I haven't read the whole book, but the parts that I read were extremely interesting. I would definitely suggest that you read it because there's a lot of really interesting things on that, as far as it talks a lot about the definition of the term woman and how we've crafted woman into something that not all women fit into, and it asks like what exactly defines a woman. Is it hormonally? Is it chromosomally? Is it based on sex? Is it based on gender? What exactly defines a woman? And it talked a lot about transgenderism and feminist theory and how the idea of the woman actually was keeping feminism from reaching its full potential as a movement. And I feel like that is actually something that encompassed all feminist theory and really encompasses all areas of life in general. The fact that there are preconceived notions about people and what they should be from the time that they're born based on small things like gender or not gender, the gender that they're supposed to have based on their sex or maybe their heritage or their family background or their religion. There's all these ideas of what people should be when maybe those people aren't these things. And we read a lot in feminist theory about this. We read an article by an artist called Nomi Lamb, and her whole article was about fat hate. She wanted to be a part of this thing called the girl movement, which was like a punk revolutionary type thing. That had to do with getting women back into the punk movement and stuff like that. And she said that it's really hard to be a fat girl in a skinny emo boys movement. We read another article called The Body Politic by Edna Chernick, and she wrote about being anorexic. And She said that she was praised for having this disorder when people didn't know she was anorexic because she was so thin. And there's a part in her article when she talks about going to the mall and sneaking away from her mom and it was shortly after she was hospitalized, and she went to have her BMI tested, and she had such a low body fat percentage that they said that she was like the healthiest person who had come in all week. And she got really mad at them and told them that she was dying of anorexia and that they shouldn't praise her. And that too was something where people decided something about her and decided what people should be. She was praised for being anorexic when that's not healthy and that's not okay. But women are supposed to be, skinny and thin, and so she was considered something that she really wasn't. And that's such a reoccurring theme, not just in feminism, but in everything. And I think that gender, that's all gender is the idea that someone should be something. And I think the act of being genderqueer or identifying as genderqueer is more or less like a rebellion away from that. Not in like the rebellion like we're just doing this to be obnoxious, but the rebellion like this is wrong and this shouldn't be this way. And I really admire that there are so many people refusing to fit into this idea and this notion of what they should be based on the sex they're born into. Longest tangent ever. I am not super well versed in what it is to be genderqueer. I do see myself as genderqueer, but I don't necessarily tell people that. I am, however, fairly well versed at this point on the patriarchal society containing gender identity and identity in general. Now, I don't know how well you've kept up on my pen pal channel, but it sounds like you've kept up with it fairly well since you know the names of people I've been talking to and everything. But anyways, if you have been keeping up on it really well, you will know that I am so punished right now. I am so punished. I said that if I don't respond to a video within a week, I get punished, and you posted your video December 7th. Right now, as I'm recording this, it's December 19th. That's almost 2 weeks since you posted your video, and so I'm almost a week late. Which means that you punish me. Just thought I'd end by addressing the white elephant in the room. By white elephant, I mean me owing punishments.